All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott from Jeff Teaches Programming. And in the last video, I began creating the GUI version of this array demo. And now that I look at this up here, if you look at what's gray in lines 2 through 8, I'm just going to don't try to remove that. Try it again. There we go, because we don't need any of that stuff. Now, if you run the program, remember only two of these 14 buttons work. The one that says help, which explains what each button is, and the exit button. So that's it. All right, so let's start. So one thing I do want to do is I want to write a routine like we did before. All right, in fact, I'm going to actually bring up that console one. And if you remember, one of the things, if we look in here that we had, I think I can use all of this stuff that's in here, all of this. So I'm going to copy that and bring it in to here, and I'll bring it in, same spot. We'll bring it in. Yeah, we'll bring it in at the top. I don't think it's going to hurt anything right there. There. So we've got that. Same stuff we had before. All right. And you'll notice if you look that some of the stuff in there looks a little different as far as it being gray or not being gray, but don't worry about it because we're going to look at all that in just a moment. Actually, let's move this over. Here we go. All right, so one thing that we want to do, one of the first things we want to do, other than original, is we want to go and we want to write the same routine that we had in here. Oh, where are you? The same routine that initialized the array. Right here, this static void initialize array. Now, we won't want it to be static. That's only for the console program. But I'm going to use that. So let me put that in. And let me add it into here. Now again, we're going to get an error. Don't worry about it. I'm just going to remove the word static, and I'm going to put in there the word private. All right, plus these right lines we don't need anymore. And so let's comment out these two lines. Now, one thing is what this will do, it's all gray because it's not being called right now. But this all will work. But what we're going to do is we're going to create another array. Oops, that was not good. So let's create another array, that one line. And instead of calling it test scores, we're going to call this original. Oh my goodness. Try that again. Original. And this will be the original test score array. We're not going to manipulate that one. It's only going to hold the original values. So after we go and copy these in, I'm going to do the same thing, except I'm going to say original LCV, all right, is equal to test scores LCV. Now let's think about it for a minute what that means. All right. So I'm going to get rid of these comments that I put in here. Okay. When I showed you two ways of doing things. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say put 25 random integers one at a time into the test scores array. All right, that's what we're doing here. Then in the next thing, whoops, good golly. Then in the next thing, what we want to do here is copy each member of the test scores array to the original array. So we now have this. This is the one we're going to manipulate. And we have this. This will hold the original values. So one thing we want to do, whenever we clear the array, all right, we want to call this routine because we want to add 25 new members. So in that clear event that's down at the bottom, okay, there's our clear. I'm going to call this clear and populate. All right, I'm going to put that right below. Private void, clear, and populate. First thing I want to do is make sure the list box is empty. All right, so I'm going to say LST, the list box, test scores, dot items, dot clear. That should remove everything that's in there. All right, then I'm going to call our routine that we just wrote, which is right here. All right, and so we'll just do that right now. So we'll call initialize array. So we will call initialize array to populate both the test scores array and the original array. Okay, so we've got that. Now we want to copy the contents of the original array to the list box. All right, and there's different ways we can do this, but I'm just going to do it with a for loop. So for int LCV equals 0, LCV less than size, plus plus LCV. And I think this will work, but we're going to see right now. Listbox dot items dot add, and we're going to try to add to it original LCV. Now I'm not sure. Oh, let's see. It doesn't look like it likes this. That's because I spelled it wrong. Original. Let's see if it works. All right. I left my notes in the other room, so I'm literally writing this blind. Let's see if it works. Save all. Oh, the other thing I want to do is I want to make sure that I call clear and populate when the program starts. So what I'll do to do that is in my load event, I'll call clear and populate. So start the program by populating both the test scores array and the original array. copying the elements of the original array to the emptied list box. So let's see if that works. File, save all. When we run it, hopefully the list box will have some stuff in it. And if we get in there, we'll have to figure it out. Okay, there it is. Now, those numbers aren't very big, but they are in there. And if we press clear, we get different numbers. It looks like that's working. So let's do this next. Let's go in here and let's make these numbers a lot bigger. Okay, because right now they're very hard to read. In fact, let's change it from 8 point to 18 point. And I don't know if that's going to be too big or not. We'll find out. It's a little too big. See that? We're not seeing every number. So what can we do? Well, we can come back to here, and as we did before, we can unlock the controls. We can make this list box longer. And we'll lock that back up again. And now let's run it again and see if we made it big enough. Okay, there's our numbers. Notice every time we press clear, we're getting different numbers. That's great. All right. Now, goofy as it sounds, there's no real good way to take what's in here and center it. See, if I go in here, there's no, to my knowledge, unless they've changed it, and I don't think they have, there's nothing in here for appearance that says that you want something left justified, right justified, or centered. All right. I remember trying to find that out once before, and they actually recommended that you don't even play with it. So let's do this. Let's cut that down to about here, and we'll move it over like so, and we're going to move this over. I'm going to move that so it's about like, like that. And again, we will lock the controls. All right. Still not going to be centered, but it'll probably look a little nicer now. There we go. So there's our numbers. Okay, so right now, our help works, our clear works, and our exit works. So we've got 3 of them working. All right. So let's just keep going. We've got, well, next looks like the original. So show array in original order. There it is. And really all we have to do we've got that right here. Whoops. Let's see. There we go. Well, it's pretty close to this. All right, it's actually even easier than this. So our show array in original order. We will do just that. Show the original array contents. We don't have to add this now. All we have to do, well, and actually we can do that. That's fine. It's not going to hurt anything. Now, if we run this, if I save this and run it, you're not going to be able to tell, but it is actually very quickly redrawing the screen. So if I click original, it looks like nothing changed. Now, ooh, there's a mistake though, because I want to make sure when you do this, we first clear the existing list box contents. So lst test scores.items.clear. All right, so let's do that. There they are. So notice, doesn't look like anything is happening, but it will. All right. So we now have got 1, 2, 3, 4 things working. Let's continue on. So the next one in here was ascending order. All right, we'll call show array ascending order. Now, when we're doing this, we want to make sure that we're working with not with the original array. We don't want to use that one. We do not want to change the contents of that one. It's ascending order. Array. All right, we always want to make sure when we do this that the first thing we do is to clear the list box contents. So lst dot items dot clear. All right, then all we have to do is sort the test scores array all right, and that's right here. So array dot sort test scores. All right, then we have to do exactly what we did here. Copy the contents but it'll be copy the contents of the other array. So oops. All right. So now it's to copy the contents of the test scores array to the list box. All right, so let's look. File, save all. Now when you look at this, there's a 1. So it looks like 1 is the smallest one. Then there's 2 9s. So let's see if we go to ascending. There's 1 and 2 9s. We can print the original, and we can go to ascending. Well, descending, as you probably would have guessed, is very, very, very similar. All right. Oops. I'm going to copy all this because we're just going to make a couple changes. So we're going to call show array descending order. We're going to get an error because it doesn't exist yet. So private void show array descending order. And I'll put that in again. Now, copy too much, I guess. Again, we want to clear the list box. We'll sort it, and then we'll reverse it. All right, and then we will list the contents out in the list box. Let's see how that works. Again, you'll notice there's a 1, there's a 4, and a 6. So that's the original. Ascending 1, 4, 6. Now descending. Do we get 96, 97, 96, 84, 80? Yes, we do. And we can go back to original. So we now have these 4 buttons working. All right. So now for smallest, we'll call show smallest array element. Oops. Show, wish I wouldn't have done that. Smallest array element. which we'll put right down below it. Now, we want to make sure that what we can do is we can do another array.sort of numbers, test scores. Okay. And then all we have to do is to say message box dot show the smallest array element is, and we will add to that plus test scores 0. We'll give it a title of smallest array element. It will be, have an OK button on there, and it's information. Okay, put our semicolon on there, and that should work. And as long as we're doing this, let's just do the largest right away, because it's the same thing, except we want to add onto there. Okay, so we will call show largest array element, which doesn't exist, so we'll get an error. We'll copy all the code from here. And we will do an array.reverse of test scores, and then we'll say the largest array element is. Okay, I think we've got those two both done, so let's check. We have no idea the order in which anybody is going to be doing these. So there's the original. We did the help already. There's ascending. So 0 should be the smallest. There's descending. So 97 should be the largest. So the smallest array element is 0. The largest array element is 97. All right. So right now, if we take a look at this, we've got these two done, plus the bottom two. So 8 down, 6 to go. Let's do sum and average next. Okay, we'll do show array sum, which doesn't exist, so let's create it. And I'll just grab this message box here and manipulate it. Call this then sum of all array elements and that's going to be sum. Now I think we kept sum up here, did we not? Just to be sure. There it is. So let's see if that one works. Start running through the gamut now. There's the original, there's our help. There's ascending, there's descending, there's smallest, which should be 0, There's largest, which should be 100. There's sum, 1140. All right. All right. Now, the next one to do, we'll do a little trick here, so to speak, is, so we've got the ascending, the descending, smallest, the largest, the sum. Now, when we do the sum here, and we show the array sum, actually, let's set this up so when we show the array sum, we're going to do one thing or we're going to do another thing. What the heck does that mean? Well, I'm going to add a parameter here. All right, if I want to do the sum, I'm going to call show array sum, and I'm going to put in a 1. All right, which means I'll have to put in here int which 1. All right, then for average, I'm going to call show array sum, and I'm going to pass in the number 2. All right, what does that have to do with anything? Right now, it would still work, but it would say the sum for both of them. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say this. I'm going to say double average, let's just do AVG, equals sum, and I want to keep any decimal portion, so I'm going to say I'm going to cast this to a double, sum divided by size. All right, so I'm going to say here if which one equal 1, well, then I'm going to print this right here. Else, if which one equal 2, oops, come on, there we go. Then I'm going to want to print the average. All right, and I'm going to say, to be sure, I'm going to say avg dot toString, and I'm going to put in here n2. Is it n? Need the other paren there. Just going to quickly check because I want to do it right for you. How to print C# double to 2 decimal places. Something tells me I'm doing it wrong, but we'll see. F2. N2 is just a number. Oops. Come on, F2. All right, so let's see if these two work. We'll just run the whole gamut with what we've got so far. There's the original, there's help, there is ascending, you can see it's in ascending, there's descending, you can see that. Go back to the original. Let's do ascending again. All right, the smallest is 1, the largest is 96, the sum is 1159, and if we take 1159 and divide that by 25, we should get 46.36 for our average. And there it is. So we now have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of these done. So now we want to do the range and the median. All right, again, not difficult to do. For the range, what we'll do is we will call show array ascending order. All right. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say int range equals 0 right now. And I'm going to say range equal, and we want to take the biggest one, which is test scores, size -1 minus test scores sub 0. And then we will do our message box. So again, I'll just grab this message box that's in here. And I'm going to say the range for the test scores array is in its range. Now that I look at that, this should say average, not sum, because that's the average. So this is going to say array range. And we might as well do the other one here as well. All right. So we will again call show array ascending order. And this is, in this case, okay, it is the 13th element. How do I know that? Because there's 25 elements. So there's 12 above it and 12 below it. All right. So the actual 13th element, since we start with 0, is element 12. So the medium for the test scores array is, and it's going to be test scores, 12. So this will be array median. All right. So let's look at that. So the original works, the help works, ascending, descending, smallest, largest, sum, average. Now the range 1 and 100 should be 99. 1 and 100. It is. The median then should be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Should be 37. And it is. So we now have working in this 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of the things of our 14 things that we've been working on. All right. And I'm 33 minutes in, and the last ones will take